dig it? Can you dig it?
Ladies, gentlemen, friends, foes, lurkers, regulars, GMO people, organic people.
Boiler room. Inbound. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
All right, welcome to the boiler room. Let me bring this down. How's everybody doing out there tonight? It's good to see you. Oh man, look at that. I forgot to bring my background down. Whoops, I'll fix that after I bring everybody on. But welcome back to the Social Rejects Club here. This is the boiler room. And we got a good show lined up for you tonight. Going to have a little bit of fun here. And it's good to be back with you on our somewhat new normal night. So tonight's episode we are calling Peace Inc., brought to you by the Department of War. So they're finally open about saying it, right? For decades, we've called it defense, right? Defense budgets, defense postures, defensive wars, all while bombing 7 countries at once. But now they're calling it what it always was, right? The Department of War. And at the exact same moment, they roll out something new, something softer, a board of peace, a council, a committee, a roundtable for stability, right? That's what it brings to mind. Because nothing says peace like a boardroom. See, this isn't a contradiction at all. It's an admission. We no longer need the window dressing, the facade, the disguise, right? Department of War. So now peace becomes the brand, right? War becomes honest. Peace becomes managerial at best. A product. Welcome to Peace Incorporated. Brought to you by the Department of War. Isn't that neat? Because in the old world, wars were declared, they ended, they were fought by nations. But in the new world, I guess war is permanent, borderless, administrative. And peace? Well, peace is something you're granted as long as you comply. Peacekeeping, stabilization, rules-based order. Translation there? You behave or we intervene. Empires don't collapse loudly anymore. They reorganize, they rebrand, they form boards, they audit conflict. This isn't about ending any wars, it's about standardizing it. Turning chaos into policy, turning violence into process, turning peace into a subscription service. Cancel anytime. Terms and conditions may apply. So tonight, we're not asking if this is the new world order. We're asking what happens when empires and technocratic new world orders stop pretending that they're not there. When war becomes transparent and peace becomes corporate. This is the Boiler Room, Peace Incorporated, brought to you by the Department of War. I'm your host. My name is Brian McLean, broadcasting live out of Central Texas. My call sign's Hesher. Thank you for being here. Let me bring Ruckus aboard here. Ruckus, what's up, man? Welcome to the Boiler Room. How you doing tonight?
Well, I am doing fine and dandy. I was gonna say, I made an incredibly cool graphic for you, Hesher, and you're not even showing it off. In fact, if everyone's interested in seeing mine, I can make that happen because with the click of a button, and there you go. This is just one piece of the puzzle, Peace Incorporated, as it were, brought to you by the Department of War. I've got the assembly line of peace happening here. Some peace units being shipped out from Amazon, of course. Just kidding. Some of the alternate images and the theme and mood that we're in tonight. There's the boardroom for your Peace Incorporated. I hope you're heavily invested. I don't know. I hear that board of peace. I don't know if you heard Hesher or not, but it costs $1 billion with a B in order to join this board of peace. And I don't know about you, but I don't know how many people or what types of people are walking around with that kind of money. But, again, it is all brought to us by the Department of War. And the product that they're pushing, their brand of peace, reminds me of, remember, we would make these memes and these jokes about peace bombs, love bombs. That's exactly the type of peace that this board of peace has been interested in. I'm not interested in that kind of peace. I want real peace, Hesher. Can we get real peace?
Yeah. Why peace as a product? I mean, no thank you. That just sounds terrible. That sounds like the worst idea.
Peace. It could be a subscription as a service. That'd be interesting.
Well,
I shouldn't give them any ideas.
We may find ourselves right exactly there, man. I mean, you buy one thing, you think you know what you're buying, but guess what? There are strings
you
attached.
do pay your taxes once a year, and guess where most of that money goes?
Roads and schools. That's all, my friend. Just roads and schools. Don't worry.
As long as those roads and schools have big towering 5G and 6G towers and Starlink satellites and Israeli-based space lasers, that's all I care about.
All right, there we go. That'll get our ranking right where we need it. I think we got all the keywords in there. Well done, sir. Let me bring Mystical Pharaoh aboard here. Mystical Pharaoh joining us tonight as well. What's up? How's it going, Mystical Pharaoh?
It's going good, man. I got my table and I got my podcast equipment. Got my human side check on my. That's my left or right? On my left side.
Yeah,
on my fembot on the right side. And I got some yellow hats right beside me.
Yeah.
So
looks extremely peaceful. It looks kosher AF, my friend. You're in the vibe right here.
Well, you just gotta have fun, man.
Right? Does it say under your name there, sir?
What is that?
Well, there's a string under your name?
Vowels and consonants under your name there. We're not sure what that means.
It's something I can't say loud because I might get deported.
Okay. All right. Well, I think we all know what it means. We don't want you to get deported, so we'll leave that one there. It's a pleasure to have you here with us tonight, Mystical Pharaoh.
Pleasure to be here too, dude. Looking forward to it.
Yeah, and there's a rumor we're going to have a combat landing from Based Lit Analyzer coming up shortly here as well. But yeah, what a strange week. Quite frankly, I dipped out of a lot of the X feed this week. I think how sometimes your phone at the end of the week will tell you what your screen time was. I'm hoping that when that happens on Sunday this week, it'll tell me it was less than last week, because I did not hang out on X near as much this week. I'm getting sick of it, man. X is really annoying. And then tonight before the show, I went to open it up and it was broken. It wasn't working. I was like, great. I did have some bookmarks and some crap I wanted to bring up. It wasn't working. Apparently it's working now. So apparently we're live on it. What's up, everybody on X? We're live on X. Give us a shout in the chat over there. We're live on the YouTubes. We're live on the Rumbles. Good to see everybody over there in the chats. Eileen on YouTube says, Pharaoh, what's up, Pharaoh? And yep. Hey, hello. Looks like we got people pulling in here. Yep, what's going on? Good to see everybody. Good to see everybody. Thank you for the shouts out, and thanks for your patience while we got tonight's show up and ready here. So, yeah, we talked about the renaming of the Department of Defense, obviously, when that happened, and now, of course, we're witnessing the Trump administration / Pete Hegseth Department of War, and this birth of the Board of Peace, right? We got a really cringy clip we can play to kind of drive that one home if you're like me and you're kind of staying away from some of those this week. I mean, even me myself, just right before the show, it was like, okay, I'll finally watch the Jared Kushner clip, and I only made it 90 seconds in, fellas, before I was like,
And that's for clarity, that's a separate issue. I mean, it's like there's so much freaking crazy stuff going on. That's not part of the Board of Peace.
No,
that's just Jared Kushner's master plan for Gaza. Remember who voted for Jared Kushner? Raise your hand.
No one. For the
I
second
don't see anyone
time,
raising their hand. What's going on here?
Yeah. So just so much Orwellian doublespeak that it's just been like, oh my god, get me out of here, get me out of X.
Well, I mean, you guys know that he is a Middle East expert, right? He put the Abraham Accord together. He brought all the Arabs, and Trump now has the peace prize that he wanted, right? She gave it to him, and he's pretty happy. And now he's putting his Board of Peace, and I think it's all coming together, guys. The 5D plan is working.
The 5D chess is everybody loving the 5D chess? The look of this, can you imagine? I mean, how many D's in are we right now? We're way beyond 5D if you're still trying to explain all this as somehow a good thing.
Oh, the whole administration are D's right now.
Yeah. They got D's. They got D's and the B's. It sounds more like.
That's funny you mentioned that. I have at least 3 out of the 5. There's Don Lemon being charged with the KKK Act. There's Davos, which is ending today, day 5, and then of course there's always drones. I don't know what's going on with drones, but there's always drones. No, I heard already the thing that I predicted for quite a while now, literally on my program, The Daily Ruckus, when I used to do that, about the drone stuff not going away and that they were going to soft roll that shit in as surveillance and technocracy. But we all understand that and talk about that here on this program as well. But Pam Bondi came out and just literally said the thing. And they're literally now they're like, oh, yeah, we're going to explore the use of drones and drones are just going to be flying around on the streets. Don't worry about it. And like, well, wait a minute. Like, we never even technically got an answer. Was it Pam Bondi? No, the other one. No, I think it was Pam. It was one of these random people just coming out. I can't even tell them apart. They all look like freaking Barbie dolls or something. It's weird.
Well, so interesting you mentioned that, because they did this, and then in December, I don't know if you guys know this or not, but the FCC, they banned basically importing Chinese drones, like especially DJI, because that's what they are using, the military is using, and what they are planning on using. So probably they're going to do like a US made version, maybe, that is much more watered down, and you can't really have any of those other drones because that will be used by them. I just learned about this week, actually. I didn't know that they banned it.
Dude, That's super weak. I didn't know they had fully banned them either, but I've kind of been expecting this because they hit Canada first, and this was like I don't know, this was like 20 somewhere around 2020. I don't know, in that blurry zone, but in Canada they made it so that you had to basically, if you want, you could only get a very limited set of drones, like very consumer grade drones, and you could not fly them without getting like basically the Canadian equivalent of, an FAA license. Like you had to basically like go through all the things that you would need to go through if you were like, operating inside of an airport fly zone or something like that. Like the amount of classes and certifications that you had to get to just buy a little DJI drone in Canada whenever this was that happened. I don't know what the situation is now. I think people have just given up mostly. People aren't flying drones unless they're flying them professionally because it's just you've been priced out of it or, certification blocked out of it. And I pretty much at that point was like, oh, this is coming soon to a free country near us. Um, and they have, and the other thing with this dude is, I think they're gonna be able to kinda clamp down. They're gonna be able to leverage the rise in cost of consumer computer parts is happening right now. Because anything that has RAM chips in it and microprocessors in it right now is going up in price, like, sneakily, and sometimes shockingly, like, if you're buying computer RAM or, a video card right now, you know what I'm talking about. There's panic buying happening right now, and all that stuff's, people are starting to predict that all those things are going to start just getting skyrocketing in price. So you couple all that with this, and you've got a recipe for it's not our fault you guys can't have nice drones anymore. Uh, you know, hey, there's Bays. What's up, Bays Lit Analyzer? Welcome to the
Yo,
boiler room.
what's up, man? You guys talking microprocessors?
That's right,
Ralph
nerdy
Baldwin
shit.
and The
Drones.
Departed.
Shit.
Drones. Read this book. Good book on drones. Predator Empire. Full
Predator
Spectrum
Empire
Dominance.
by Ian G.R. Shaw.
Yeah, it's on drone warfare. Excellent book.
So, what do you think, Bays? Did you hear this week? We're not. We'll have to find the clip so we can reference it. But like Bondi or Blondie or one of the Trump Barbies had something to say about just people should get used to militarized drones from the government flying around over normal cities and shit. I say, LOL. It's been happening to you for decades, but it's never a good sign when they want to just normalize that.
I didn't hear that, but I guess that was the test run was the New Jersey mothership last year.
Right?
Yeah.
I mean, you can go outside right now and see drones flying around. They've been, like you said, they've been doing it for a long time. I remember when Tom Green had had like the first internet show, and he was talking about, I saw a drone fly past my house in LA. It was crazy. I've never seen it. And look how far we've come from that. I mean, it's, yeah, it's everywhere. It's a fact of life. But when can I ride a drone copter to the Walmart? Like when am I going to be able to do that? So.
Well, you can do it now. Well, at least you can own the device to do it in now. I don't know about the legality of flying it to Walmart or not, but what's that? What's the dude? The Lucky Palmer, whatever that dude's name is. He's delivering. He had on one of their social media accounts video of them delivering the first Jetson. I think we might have played it on the show. I can't remember, but it's just it's like a quad or an octocopter drone that has a cockpit in it, and you fly it around.
But like Ruckus said when you showed that, I mean, it's so loud. It's not worth the flight. They just need like Return of the Jedi land speeders,
right?
Full on anti-gravity, stuff. But I think a lot of this stuff is just like it's fantasy. I mean, that's obviously real, but it's just fantastical. I did hear about Jeff Bezos and his Blue Origin deploying a new communication system. Is that a thing now? It'll have 100,000 users, And then he's using that somehow as a launch pad for putting data centers in space. That's the next big project. Is that have you guys heard of that this week?
That's news to me, man, but I'm not surprised. I mean, Elon's kind of been the figurehead for that entire industry, and like as we know in America, we don't like having a single person in charge of a whole industry. So I wouldn't be surprised. We'll get Bezos on the structural side and Elon on the beaming side.
Let them put it in space and let them just get off the fuck out of our land. Let them leave the green stuff for us down here, and they can just all fuck off to space. How about
Like
that?
they could put them. They should put themselves in space. Like I'm okay.
Yeah,
They want
man.
to put themselves in space. That's fine. Just don't aim shit down here at us. Quit doing that. You can aim communication beams and all that. That's fine. Just don't. Nothing else.
For real. Well, in my screenplay I'm working on, when we take over Greenland, that's where they put all of the Epstein types.
Oh,
They exile them there, and it's weird because now I'm seeing all these memes, and it's pretty much the plot of the movie I'm writing. But what about Greenland? Have you guys talked about that yet? Are we?
no, not.
What are we
No,
doing? The new Louisiana Purchase or something? Are we gonna take it?
I don't know, man. It's so chaotic. Like all this whole like we're gonna take presidents over here. We're gonna start a war over here. We're gonna end a war over here. No, we're not actually. Sorry, just kidding. All this. It's overload right now, man. I don't even want to keep up. Like I see all this Greenland stuff, and it's just like to me, it's all just a bunch of saber rattling from the whole Atlanticist, you know, political Zionist
Yeah.
machinery that's saying we're gonna take what we want from whoever we want, and we're gonna sell the idea of peace with shit like the Board of Peace, but we changed the name of the DoD to the Department of War because that's what's going to happen. That's the trajectory right now. So if you're some South American country, if you're Colombia, man, I'm sorry. If you're Venezuela, I'm sorry. Apparently this, block of nations are at the point where it's like if you have rare earth, or if they can create a narrative about why regime change should happen there, or if they want to deploy the resources that they use to do regime change, they're gonna fucking do it. That's just it now, and it's almost like, okay, cool, at least we're being honest, at least we're kind of being honest now, but where are the lines? Where does it end? What's just propaganda? What's just like pie in the sky? What's a distraction? Like honestly, base, I can't. It's getting more and more difficult to figure it out. Like just the whole concept of like taking over Greenland, because if we don't, like China or Russia might, just to me sounds like a stupid, without nuance, like dialectic or
It sounds like a Cold War argument that's kind of played out as far as
yeah.
we need a buffer zone with that. I'm sure that's a factor, but like when are we going to see the text of the new neocon, whatever the thesis is here? Because this is, like you said, this is like, in the 50s and 60s, it was like we did regime change, and there was Mubarak and Guatemala and, all these places that we, affected change in one way or the other, assassinations and, voting control. And now I guess they're just doing it outright. So it's the apex of like, are we just going to say, no, we're an empire and we'll just do it? The Greenland thing is weird because remember originally about a year ago, the argument was that we needed it for I think it was the cobalt and the lithium. I think that's what they want there. But we've had military bases there for a long time. They've had, all this stuff, nuclear bases during the Cold War. But I think it's just so hostile. The environment is just so the terrain is so bad. It's just hard to get to or whatever. It's the opposite of Iceland. And it's just a gigantic island. I don't think it's I guess we're gonna take that. I mean, I would think that they would go after Cuba in a serious way before they did that, because these interests have wanted Cuba back so much. I mean, when another country takes over and nationalizes all the stuff and they keep our whatever they had in Cuba. They keep our casinos and our money and all that stuff. Eventually, it's going to come around, and we're going to want it back. But when are we going to get Emperor Clarence Thomas, Emperor of the Globe, in the gladiator arena?
Good question.
Uh-huh.
I don't know, man. What do you think, Pharaoh? What do you think about? Oops, I just launched him off the stage instead of putting him on it. What do you think, Pharaoh? Why do you think? What do you think's going on with Greenland? Like the other thing. Hold on, before you answer that, the other thing, just to add to what I said, that makes this all the more confusing, is like this administration does like wild shit and then backs off. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you're looking as they're
Yes.
saying something wild, and then you look away for a moment, and
We're going to deport everyone, about 20 people.
right. So it's just like, okay, there's almost this like the administration that cried wolf factor, or the administration that declared war and then said never mind, or the administration that's declared war and kidnapped a president and brought him back here and then said, pay attention or the tariffs will get worse. It's just, it must be very like, I'm not geopolitically illiterate. Anyone that watches me on this channel knows that. But even I am struggling with like, yeah, what's the scaffolding? What's the end game? Like, at least up until now, I had like all the white papers, all the PNAC plans. We knew everything. Carol Quigley told us. We've been along the globalist book review series with Jay Dyer. You know what I mean? Like we've dissected all the things that create the mixture that we're in right now. But like this whole space and time, like the narrative and the events that shall unfold, and the political maneuvering and propaganda maneuvering between now and 2030, I think has a lot of us kind of spinning and going, wait, it's like everything's on the table. There's not a clear and direct motion.
It'll get much more stable when Marco Rubio is president. Then it'll be predictable neocon behavior. So
Stop.
That would assume presidents are actually in control at this point. I don't think they are, man.
Hesher, we need to look to the past. There's an interesting link I just dropped in the private chat here. By the way, a quick update on the Greenland thing, because everything changes in less than 24 hours now. While he was at Davos, Trump announced that he had made some sort of deal with NATO for total access. So he's happy right now, allegedly, with Greenland, but we'll see how long that lasts, because there is a real sincere, older than you or I on this call plan that was talked about some time ago by one grandfather of one Elon Musk, the guy who was the head of Technocracy Inc. They had a plan called the Technate of America, and it included some familiar territories that have been in the news lately that have been discussed as, hey, we need to acquire these places. And as a correction, if you scroll down a little bit, perhaps there's a pinned comment from Liam Neeson about with the post by Donald Trump. So I need to correct myself. The clip we were discussing that you watched briefly before we went on air, and we might play a bit of it here in a minute or whatever, of Jared Kushner is kind of related to the Board of Peace, because Jared Kushner was talking about I think he's the one who's heading this board, the appointed Palestinian technocratic government. He was talking about that stuff in his little speech.
No, correction. It's Tony Blair who's heading it.
Oh, is it? So Tony Blair is the head of the
government.
Cheese and crackers. Look at what this is crazy.
Yep.
These are not the people we want doing this.
Lord Blair.
Nuts.
Tony Blair.
Yeah, Tony Blair turned into like literal visual Satan in the last few years.
Yeah. And for our folks that are maybe just listening and not watching, let me just read from this official post here. I guess it's probably from Dreaded Truth Social at Real Donald Trump. And Liam Neeson reposted it with the correct question. WTF is a, quote, technocratic government, end quote. Keep that in your back pocket.
When he did that in his voice, what the fuck is a technocratic government?
Yeah, you got to have it in the right voice. So Trump says, as Steve Witkoff announced, we have officially entered the next phase of Gaza's 20-point peace plan. Since the ceasefire, my team has helped, blah, blah, blah. He goes on and on about how awesome he is. And this is the part. As chairman of the Board of Peace, I am backing a newly appointed Palestinian technocratic government, the National Committee for the Administration of Gaza, supported by the board's high representative to govern Gaza during its transition. Yeah, technocratic government. Technocratic government. That's coming out of the
president of the United
President
States.
of the United States, talking about how cool it would be to have this guy on screen, Tony Blair, on a high council in charge of the Board of Peace. Good gosh, good gravy, my friends. This is so just
I don't think that image of Tony Blair was even doctored, by the way. That's what's freaky about
Yeah,
this one. I think that's a real photo.
definitely. It looks like it's pre-AI doctored at the very least. Somebody spent some time in Photoshop with that one.
Yeah, no, I mean it's interesting his speech, and he said he cut a deal with NATO, and then he did not sit with Denmark, right? And then Denmark came out. I saw a video even of someone of the official Denmark government telling him to F off.
Yeah, a lot of those, huh?
Yeah, so I have no idea what he's doing. I really, so to your point earlier, what is the plan? There is no plan. It's a dying. I said that last time, right? We are entering a new phase on imperialism. It's a dying empire, right? All what they can do right now is to push as much they can get, right, before the collapse happen. And I don't think he has any plan. He's just winging it, and he thinks he can create his own reality. That's what Trump truly believes in his head. He believes that he can just talk everybody into whatever the hell reality is in his head, and he's gonna make it happen, which is so delusional. But that's what he truly believes. To that point, I posted that X post from Diaper Diplomacy. They took his voice on it, and I think it really.
I got you, dude. Do you know if there's background music on this? Just
no, there is no background.
Okay, all right. Let me bring it up here. Oh yeah. I got you.
Greenland is a vast, almost entirely uninhabited and undeveloped territory that's sitting undefended in a key strategic location between the United States, Russia, and China. That's exactly where it is, right smack in the middle. Wasn't important really when we gave it back. When we gave it back, it wasn't the same as it is now. It's not important for any other reason, everyone talks about the minerals. There's so many places. There's no rare earth, no such thing as rare earth. There's rare processing, but there's so much rare earth. And to get to this rare earth, you got to go through hundreds of feet of ice. That's not the reason we need it for strategic national security and international security. This enormous unsecured island is actually part of North America, on the northern frontier of the Western Hemisphere. That's our territory. It is therefore a core national security interest of the United States of America. And in fact, it's been our policy for hundreds of years to prevent outside threats from entering our hemisphere. And we've done it very successfully. We've never been stronger than we are now. That's why American presidents have sought to purchase Greenland for nearly 2 centuries. For 2 centuries, they've been trying to do it. They should have kept it after World War II, but they had a different president. That's all right. People think differently. Much more necessary now than it was at that time, however. In 2019, Denmark said that they would spend over $200 million to strengthen Greenland's defenses. But as you know, they spent less than 1% of that amount. 1%. There's no sign of Denmark there.
All right, diaper diplomacy.
Interesting. It's perfect way to put it. But I don't know, man. I really hope it. Here is a point. everything our government put its hand on, it just turns into dust and destruction, right? And the last thing right now is pristine land like this turn into just some shithole because we're just gonna go and just he put whoever he brings on to mine it and do whatever the hell he wants to do with it, which is really that's what they are after, right?
Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah, they definitely want the minerals. I mean, that's but I mean, I don't even really care honestly about this. I mean, um don't we already we already fund it and control it, I guess, but why lie? Why the bullshit about this? It's obviously military and minerals. I mean, that was the whole point like a year ago when he was talking to Elon about it. They want the lithium and the cobalt. So just say it, right? But also, you're going to purchase it with what?
Yeah, we're gonna go further. We're gonna go further into debt as taxpayers here as a nation to just make more fake money, more fiat out of thin air, like we did
What
10 to
happened in the
20.
golden age of America a year ago that was being ushered in?
Well,
Right
I
now,
mean that
start.
it's a
Yeah.
silver age now because it's $90 per ounce.
Oh, it's the silver age because silver went up. See, it's good. It's all good. Just depends. Just don't zoom out too far. Everything's good, right?
Yeah.
You
Yeah,
wanted
he
the
wanted to
golden
pay
age? Well,
$100,000. The proposal I heard was $100,000 for each resident to buy it from them.
Jeez.
golden age, best I can do is a silver bullet.
There you go, silver bullet.
There you go.
Well, here's something interesting from the Discord chat. I guess shout out Burning Beard over there because he makes a good point. Let us not forget that Tony Blair is connected to Larry Ellison, and anyone that's connected to Larry Ellison at this point is important. This is why I say it's not just something Trump would think up. It's the kind of thing that would come from the so-called art of the deal. You know what I mean? Like do something internationally belligerent, questionable, imperialistic, not very presidential, not very American presidential, at least so openly, right? I mean, we've got plenty of track record for it. There's precedents, but this whole thing with Greenland and a lot of this other stuff, look at all those people that put money in this guy. Look at all those people that sat there behind him when he was inaugurated, to include Larry Ellison, Jeff Bezos, who we just talked about, Elon, all this. Like, you guys can have space. You guys can have Internet 3.0. You guys can have the panopticon, right? As long as we can all use it together. Big business, big government, intel, military, law enforcement, propaganda machines. We all want to use it too. You guys put the 500 billion in. Apple, come on in, put the 500 billion in. Boom, boom, boom. Right, set up this whole infrastructure here. Palantir at the core of it. Palantir doesn't probably doesn't work without Oracle. Those contracts are all intermingled for these systems to work. My experience would lead me to believe. So yeah, who's really pulling the strings on like these octogenarian type of guys making, Greenland sounds like a, international decision, right? To say, I'm going to go take that. We're going to go take that. But really, at its essence, it's a technological decision. It's a technology decision to say, hey, we're going to go to this country and we're going to buy it, or we're going to take it, or we're going to, coerce it, or we're going to force them to make us a deal where this stuff is basically free because for whatever reason, they think of it as an existential threat to not have it. So it's a technological decision. It's not one that Donald Trump would dream up in his own head, or Joe Biden, or any other 80-year-old in the White House. You know what I mean? People like Peter Thiel, people like Larry Ellison come to them. And where do those guys hang out? Oh, they're all partying right now in Davos. They're literally all those types of people I just described. You would think maybe if you're new around here, oh, they're just, all CEOs and, scientists and whatnot. No, they all go to Davos, where there are more. What's the right way to say it on YouTube? Where there are more sex workers than just about anywhere else you could possibly imagine. Davos, that's right. It's going on right now.
Did you say
Yeah, and the
sexy
interesting
workers? No.
Something like that.
and the interesting thing is he taking with him all those like influencers, right? Those MAGA influencers, like Jack Posobiec is there now, I guess, covering the World Economic Forum because it's pretty cool now, right? Because Trump is there, right? So it's really interesting the rebranding. Remember how like the WIF and Davos we used to be stupid and bad, right? Now for MAGA, the new MAGA, that's cool. Actually, it's a new nationalism. Is It's a whole
Man,
rebranding of
if
everything that's happening right
I
now.
don't know. I don't know if it's fair to call that the new MAGA, maybe the remaining MAGA. I don't even know, dude. Like that is such a wild and crazy stretch. Like I don't think anyone like that would be watching this program, but if you are, holy cow, like you really got to think about that. Like or maybe you just are new around here, you don't know what Davos is, you know, what Bilderberg Group is, you don't know, you know, Chatham House rules. I mean, there's some catching up to do if you're trying to make so this administration in its part deux is trying to make panopticons cool, right? You've been told that a global panopticon is cool, right? As long as, you know, your team is in charge of it over there and they're going after, you know, fill in the blank. I won't even, you know, whatever. So that's all okay now. What else is okay now? Oh yeah, federal forces being, you know, unleashed in public streets and you know, at the disregarding the local law enforcement and the local, you know, citizens, that kind of stuff. I mean, we're supposed to think all these things are okay now and cool, canceling people. Like there's this whole combination of things that actually came from like sort of the leftist side of the culture wars, the earlier, you know, to mid leftist side of the culture wars are now being picked up by the right. And I'm sorry, there's no way you can make people that hang out at Davos cool. There's just, you can't do that. And if you think you're, you know, supporting the president or like these CEOs are cool and, um, you know, benevolent philanthropists, you're experiencing the grift. I'm sorry.
Oh, I haven't. I'm not sure I saw any examples of MAGA being all for it, but I did see or hear rumblings that they're like, "Oh, it's okay," because they're like, "Wait a minute, Trump's going to go speak at the WEF." That did have a little bit of a cognitive dissonance effect on a few people, and they were like, "Oh, it's okay, guys. Trust. He's going to go there and tell them 1, 2 and tell them what's up and tell them to go to hell or whatever they were saying." And like, he didn't really do that, but Howard Lutnick kind of did. I should probably fish up a clip for that. But Patrick Henningsen earlier today on UK Column, shout out to all of them. And Patrick discussed this earlier today and played a clip in case some of you probably caught that. But Howard Lutnick was up there and he literally was in front of the globalists telling them that the globalism and the WEF has been nothing but bad news for America. He said all the things, and you couldn't really necessarily disagree with what he was suggesting, but it was kind of weird and it seemed out of place. And then I understand that there is a super globalist member who was there who got very upset by what Howard Lutnick was saying and stormed out and has canceled all of their plans for the remaining event, which is now wrapped up, I think, anyways. But yeah, it is what it is.
Oh man, it's almost like I don't know. It seems like there's a lot of like tail end of a narrative, tail end of a style happening. Like we're at the tail end of, you know, this generation of politicians, the tail end of this version of the internet, the the tail end of so many different things right now. Hopefully not our entire nation and our culture, like, and our financial stability, but who knows? Like we said, everything's on the table at this point. It could go one of many ways, or many of many ways. So the Orwellian, I think that, just to kind of wrap this segment up, and then I'll go around the room. I think that at least what I'm taking away is there is like sort of just a too much Orwellian doublespeak around every topic and every narrative right now. And it makes it confusing. That's all, that's where I'm at with this. I don't like the idea of peace as branding instead of outcome. And I'm 100% sure peace is not the outcome, actual peace. That's why I keep referring to it as branding this time around. So, Peace Incorporated, brought to you by the Department of War. There we go.
Panera Peace.
Yeah. Yeah, Panera Peace. Right. All right. And then there's the whole like rebranding aspect here. We're like trying to rebrand Empire here. We rebranded the Department of Defense to the Department of War. And now we're rebranding empire building to just a process that happens with people that pay or what brought into this board of peace, right? So we're rebranding empire as a board of peace, basically. I think that's kind of why I'm stumbling a little bit for words here. It's because all the words are upside down and backward and in a mirror, and extremely double speaky, extremely gaslighty. And it makes it difficult to even freaking discuss. It makes me wonder how many people out there even can give a fuck about any of this anymore, or are, tuned in or give a fuck or think about the worst case scenarios that are possible amongst.
I think most people's like their state of mind is like, well, the midterms are, out the window. That's like the limit. And that's like as far as the trajectory goes.
Right? Like
and then what? This is how silly people are. Okay, yeah.
Mhm.
So then you're gonna give the Democrats, get them in, and then what's gonna happen? What do you think is gonna happen?
Right?
What do you guys think is gonna happen when the Democrats come?
Dude, the only thing that's going to happen is these stupid narratives are going to keep coming, and
right.
whatever the plan is,
It's gonna keep happening.
Whatever the plan is, regardless of whose plans they are, whatever the plans are and how bumbly and stupid they are, they're going to keep freaking happening. And whichever of these two ridiculous, dialectically opposed parties they're going to put in front of us is going to be stupid, and it's going to be more iron-fisted, more iron-booted, more stupid than before, and coming faster and faster. And it's just like it's clear to me now that it is meant to pump you up and then deflate you, and then pump you up and then deflate you, right? Just absorb, like, following the wave of this, over a longer period of time, especially now when things come in such a torrent. It's meant to burn people out. It's meant to absorb all of your chemicals that make you happy, sad, angry, mad, motivated, depressed, all that stuff. Like, and that's because it's all coming through this cybernetic feedback loop of internet, of 24/7 doom scroll now, and of new things being injected, new narratives being injected at warp speed. I have a side warp speed quest, but I won't go there. But yeah, that's why we're fucked.
I think it reflects the spirit of Trump pretty accurately, I guess. I mean, this sort of, whirlwind of chaos that occurred. Like, top of my head, I saw the guy on a show, and now he's the Secretary of the Treasury or whatever. But I think that the thing coming up, whether it's Newsom or Rubio or whatever, is that the stability aspect of the business as usual. Isn't that the most likely thing? And by business as usual, it's like, the way the globalist system worked for years and years under with a more regularity, I guess, because the Trump thing, if anything, we see so much domestic chaos and all of this provocation and it's like it's crazy that Trump out cowboyed W, right? That George W. Bush was the more out of all of that stuff in a way that he was the more predictable agent of this stuff. If that makes any sense, that might be a stupid take.
No, I get you, dude. I get you.
But my favorite thing that's happened in the past month is
One with your lover. Your lover's not going to be killed anymore, so he can act like a real lover. But you can walk right through the middle of the town, and DC is.
Did you see that? Did you see that?
No.
The press conference. They asked him something, and Trump literally said, "Well, your lover can walk through DC. He's a real lover. You're welcome. He won't be killed. He's your lover." I mean, the guy is. I don't know what's happening, but he's definitely in a new era and a new phase. He seems very tired. That was a funny bit that he did, but he is very tired. Like you were saying earlier about the go hard and then retract. Like, look at the Somalian thing. That's case in point. We're going to take all the Somalians. We're going to, and then it's like nothing. So I think,
well, that set the stage for the confrontations and the shooting with Renee Good and all that stuff, dude.
Yeah.
Right.
And then there's all the like tariff stuff. Like I was talking to a friend earlier and we were talking about how we were talking about a specific industry, and in our discussion, it doesn't really matter which one it was, but he was basically saying like, yeah, that first round of saber rattling, propaganda, executive orders, tariffs, and then walkbacks on many of those tariffs is now affecting this industry. And we were talking about prices going up in widget industry X. And it's like, we've already gone, up light speed, down slow, boom, full retraction, more threats to other nations. Just like most Americans and people around the world are not even keeping track of it, after the initial set of news. So it's like there's going to be like waves of ramifications about just this tariff stuff in general that we're going to be feeling just throughout the rest of the administration. Like if they were to just stop it all and level out right now, or do something reasonable and let it level out, like it's going to be unpredictable for a while. And I think that's what has a lot of people nervous, just the general unpredictability of the entire market right now. It's just like with AI coming in and all the resources going into data farms and network farms and AI farms, prices going up everywhere, jobs disappearing, it's definitely, it just feels like there's a lot of resource consolidation happening right now. A lot of like probably very illegal resource consolidation happening, or at least very shady stuff going on.
Consolidation everywhere. I mean, look at the entertainment industry. Look at Hollywood. Major shifting even there.
Right? Like, people are starting to ask, do we need this industry anymore? Do we need these people anymore? You know what I mean? Like, we're at that point. Like it's not the tidal wave of people, but people that are actually, looking at what the technology is producing right now and, comparing it, right? Like AB, here's the brand new, like Ruckus and I were listening to the brand new Megadeth today, and we were like, yeah, man, this is crazy. It's like Megadeth, after all these years, still here. We got one more album from Megadeth, and it's like, but what would happen? Like we were listening to Megadeth's version of Ride the Lightning, which is the quote unquote bonus track on the new album. And Ruckus was like, what if you asked, the best AI program, hey, could you do Make Me Ride the Lightning, but with Dave Mustaine doing vocals, rhythm guitar, and lead guitar. Like, would it sound? What would it sound like? You know? And I was like, I don't even want to know. I don't even want to know because, but exactly that. You know, it's like you may not want to know, but we're seeing it. We showed it last week with that filter with the Stranger Things thing on it, like that. We showed that to an actor friend of ours, and his response was, "Well, shit, there goes my job."
Did you guys, speaking of which, sorry, side note, did you see the Matt Damon statement about Netflix?
Yeah, we
And their
talked about
production?
it
Oh, you did? Okay.
week. Yeah,
Yeah.
for anyone that missed it,
The
yeah,
phone distracted audience.
Yeah.
he was
Which
talking about.
confirmed, I mentioned that in my Stranger Things analysis that was probably part of it.
Uh-huh.
Because it was clear that like halfway through the shooting of the season, they hadn't written the ending yet. And there were screenshots of the duffers, like, with open GPT screens, like looking for plot devices. And then they came out with that, the screen scroll rule or whatever. It's just the Matt Damon thing, I think, was shameless because, I get it. You have a business deal with him. But I watched that film, The Rip, and I'm like, why does he keep saying, oh, well, we need to get to the rip? Well, we gotta get to the rip. He says it like 100 times, the title of the movie. And you're like, what is this? Oh, this is that thing. They have to make it so that when you're scrolling Tumblr in the background or whatever, whatever, that you look up and you stay on the channel, which is like that's the end. That's the end. That's it. So that's not good.
Yeah, that's frustrating. It's like we already had that going on. Like that was already a piece of you know, crap that we didn't need in movies and television shows. This incessant like, here's what you just saw and here's what's coming up next after
Yeah,
this. And then
exposition.
after this, it's like, here's what we just told you you'd see coming up next. And like, if you just cut all that out for the low attention span people and the people, muting and whatever, TikToking and all that, like the program would be, like a hour-long program end up being like 28 minutes or something like
Yep.
that when you cut all
Filler
that out.
and like and advertising stuff is one thing, but like when big tech controlling creative control, having creative control over their thing is, I mean, it's like, oh yeah, of course they would do that now, but that's a big deal because it's sort of like violent. What's the purpose of any entertainment or of what we have, the little things in our little pods that make us happy. And it just shows how far things have gone. I think the whole like model of Hollywood is changing back to they're using that show The Pit as their new like template, which I don't know if you guys have seen that, but it's they're going back to episodic like studio built television because it's cheaper and stuff and whatever. I mean, they go through phases, but there's just nothing good. And there has to be something good when the populace is so restless. There, we have to have a distraction, even as light as that, and there just isn't one. So it's not.
Yeah,
It's just all slop.
yeah. I'm afraid the slop will continue. I'm afraid the slop shall flow. The slop is going to definitely continue to flow. It's getting difficult as they get better at making slop. Hey, the better the slop is, the cheaper it is to roll out.
Oh, there is no human creativity. The creativity in Hollywood right now is just zero. It's just recycling and just garbage. And with AI coming, really, like, what is the future in Hollywood, right? I think it's just the whole industry is just gonna fizzle out eventually.
Pharaoh, do you think that's why we see like this onslaught of so-called A-list celebrities hawking, sandwiches and insurance and all this stuff? Like when I was a kid in this country, shit, even like most of my early adult life, you would never see an A-list. You would rarely see an A-list celebrity hawking, anything other than maybe like, a car or, someone, some corporation that's able to pay them, something that they would find valuable. But, I'm
Yeah.
talking 80s, 90s, early 2000s, right?
It was Orson Welles selling Mrs. Morelli's snow peas. Ah, the champagne. That notorious thing, because he was at the, that spit out the back of the bottom. But now they need to get paid. And they all have podcasts. Every single celebrity has a podcast. The Michael Douglas podcast, the Martin Sheen podcast, because I guess they get ad revenue as something to do, and there's just nothing being made. It's nothing good.
Nothing. I do believe that's why, because just the whole industry just gonna fizzle out.
Shit, man. Even politicians have to do podcasts now. Yep.
Well, who's consuming those podcasts? That's my question.
Well, it's a good question.
Or are they just getting paid by those giant platforms just for their names, and those platforms just taking hits?
It's a little bit of both, man. And there's probably some nuance there. I would say that it's a little bit of everything there. First off, those type of people don't launch a podcast on their own. They aren't like us in this room here that we're like, I would like to be on this call with this person. I need to go get a microphone. What is a microphone? You know what I mean? Okay, I sounded bad. I need an audio interface. You know what I mean? Like, these aren't those type of people. These are people that like have a manager, and they've got, a production assistant. They've got someone that's writing their podcasts. Like this whole, like all these celebrity podcasts, it's like there's no heart and soul in it. Very little heart and soul in most of them. I think these people do nothing, many of them, but sit down and maybe go to one meeting with whoever their producer is, and set the vibe up and just record them. I don't think these people put any heart and soul into them. But
who the fuck would watch this shit?
Right. But they also have the money to have professional camera people there, right? So it can have the aesthetic of like, and you can set this up simply if you have the people and the money to buy the gear and the people to operate the gear and that kind of stuff. You can make it look beautiful. It can look like whatever podcast you want. You want to look like Sean Ryan show? Fine. We can make it look like that. It costs this much, and then it's like, but I need the advertising, the SEO and all that. Okay. Well, yeah, we got a team that does that too. And guess what? They interface directly with all the main podcasting platforms and all that shit. They know they have teams of people that work the monetization on it. So even if it sucks, Gavin Newsom, even if it sucks, Michelle Obama, even if it sucks, former A-list actors, it gets promoted. It's automatically boosted, and they have the name recognition that, people see it because it's being pumped into their feed. So sorry for the long answer to your question there, Pharaoh, but it's kind of a blend of a whole bunch of stupid factors.
Actually, a question: Do you think that this is also part of like the Trump effect? I mean, that the entertaining of the widespread of the world. I mean, Trump with him brought network television and name recognition and all this stuff, and then the Corona happened, so there was a shutdown. So I wonder if this is like partly a lingering effect from all that. Plus, boomer celebrities think of this shit like Roosevelt fireside chats or something. That's their like. You remember when Bill Murray went on Rogan? Did you see any of that?
Yeah, I did.
He was like walking around, and he's like, "I've never heard of this or whatever we're doing here." And Rogan's like, "Sit down and talk in the microphone, dude. What the fuck?" Like they're just out there.
Yeah. Right. He was in an alien spacecraft or something in there, not because
you've never heard of Joe Rogan or a podcast.
Yeah.
He's talking about.
Crazy. No, absolutely crazy. I forget what your question was because I was thinking about Bill Murray's face in Joe Rogan's studio. What was your question?
No, my question was basically about those celebrities that you were talking about, and if those platforms, because they made deals, for example, the Obama, how much does Spotify paid her, and all the reviews now, that's just a shit show, right? It's just really horrible podcast, and nobody's listening to it. So are they just paying them out just for
they write
what?
they're in contracts, so they do contracts, and then they also they'll also have contracts with advertisers. So it's like they have a known amount of money that comes in with someone like that. If it's on someone else's network, right? Like they probably have a contract with the person, exclusivity or not, whatever. But like they've got a year, they got to run this many episodes in a year, and they have a guaranteed amount of money coming in from whatever fucking soap company or pharmaceutical company or whatever. So that like the network makes a known amount, and they hope that the podcast is popular. But if it's not, they'll run it for a year or two or five or whatever
Or
the
just kill it.
contract is.
The Obamas had that Netflix contract, which actually produced some shit. Like they made that American Factory documentary, which was hilarious, by the way. That was
I don't
that
know
was
if
really.
I don't
It
know.
was the first one that they made, and it was where a Chinese like management system takes over an American factory. They have to change all the shit, and they're in these meetings. They're like, and they're speaking to the Chinese employees, and they're like, Americans are like donkeys. Like you have to pet them this way and give them like treats and foods because they're stupid. And they have to change the factory and take out all of their break rooms and shit. And then they produced that End of the World movie, which did pretty well, the Julia Roberts movie.
Oh yeah.
And their daughter, remember, worked for Weinstein, for the Weinstein Company. So I guess
think they still
produced
have that
something.
production company, and I don't know. I imagine they still have the contract with Netflix. That was a huge deal they made with them. Yeah, and they had the A-listers in there. But yeah, we were talking about like the end of Hollywood, the end of this kind of politics and stuff, and it's just like, yeah, I think that's one of the reasons. And Matt Damon's comments about having to repeat everything for the TikTok generation, like these are all harbingers of sort of the end of this old era of Hollywood, of entertainment, media, all that stuff. Yeah,
Or America.
or maybe, yeah, or perhaps the entire country and
Symptoms
culture.
of a much wider disease. I mean, Trump does. I mean, he just comes right out and compares it. He wants the whole Roman Empire, and I'm like, dude, I went to school. I learned history. How did the Roman Empire end? Anybody? Did it end well?
Flames.
No. No, it didn't. But yeah, no, all of these things. I'm thinking, oh, well, it's just bread and circus, isn't it? I mean, like, why am like, dude, seriously. The people who are in charge, you're really allowed to go ahead and take their images and do weird stuff to them with AI. Like I have an image here that I made using Grok, of all things, during a time when Elon was still buddies with Trump, and I put Trump in a bathing suit like he was a chick with boobies. Okay. Why would we be allowed to do that, with our world leaders? Why are we allowed to do this kind of stuff? Well, because, it's bread and circus, right? The AI slop is the bread and circus of this declining Rome, while he puts the final nails into the coffin of the US dollar, is my guess, and, sets the stage, puts in the final pieces to do the technocracy thing. I mean, what's he waiting for? Are they all waiting for the 2026 USA July 4th thing? Is that it? Is that what's something going to happen? What are we doing here?
Probably, yeah. That.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
That's it right there. Hesher's figured out.
They told us AI would cure the diseases and make our lives easier. Yet this is what we get so far. We get this kind of stuff.
A never-ending series of people posting, this is why your RAM chips cost whatever, fill in the blank amount of money here, and it's just some
Right?
random like AI slop video.
You got to spend $900 on 64 gigs of RAM for your PC so that some other dickhead who already did can make this piece of crap that we're watching here for your daily Vance. This is the first official meeting of the Board of Peace right here. If you did not know, this is official. This is breaking right here. It's the first meeting of the Board of Peace right here. It's a Vance mosh pit. There you go. Oh my gosh. Yeah. So
If we don't get canceled this year, we must be doing something wrong.
I know, right? Well, it's like, geez,
Well,
man.
I think they're changing their tactics. I don't think their tactics now is canceling. Oh knows what's going to happen.
Yeah, I think right now it's more about categorizing,
Yeah,
training, learning.
that's right. And then the hammer will come, however
Yeah.
they want to bring it down.
Oh, yes, it will. And it won't. And we've seen some pretty big, quote unquote, big narratives and events. It's not going to happen until something even bigger happens. So it's going to
Mhm.
be wild getting
Well,
there.
Maybe when the
Really.
alien come and the banking system crashes.
you're right.
The Winter Olympics.
Did you all realize, or I'll remind the audience, because I'm sure most of them have actually been paying attention, unlike some of us here this round, because it's like you've seen one Davos, you've seen them all, right? The whole idea behind the Davos is like it's very fascinating, actually, when you think about it, especially considering what like Patrick Henningsen's been talking about since the Elon Musk phenomenon and you are the media and all that stuff, and what I was talking about on my disinfo wars series, right? And things that you and I have been talking about, Hesher and others here on this program and other places, is this idea that like the podcasters, right? If you can't beat them, join them. They are quite literally the new media, right?
People that would have scoffed at us, people that did scoff at so-called streamers and podcasters, probably up to just a few years ago. Let's say at least 5 years ago. I saw another A-list celebrity. Who was it? It was Bradley Cooper saying on Joe Rogan just maybe this week or last week that he didn't even know what a podcast was until
Right.
like just recently. And I was like, are you acting? Are you serious? Like this shit has been around for years and years and years. So the fact that, it's just so bizarre to see it go from something that people used to not take seriously with a vengeance to something now like, you know what I mean? Like tell someone in 2014, 15, 16, what do? I'm a podcaster. They look at you like, oh, you must be a trust fund kid or something like, oh, you have a real job. Now you tell someone you're a podcaster and they're like, oh, really? How many followers you got? Da, 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 da. There's all these different like responses and questions and metrics that you would have never fucking
Yeah.
heard.
What
before.
games you play?
Right. Yeah.
But
Right.
to my point, the reason I was bringing that up is because it is the reason behind why they did that is because they know what we've been saying out loud for a long time. They've lost the trust of the people, and they came right out and said it. That was the whole top. Oh, what is that weird? Oh, okay.
Sorry, my bad.
It's all good. That was the topic of the theme of this year's Davos at the World Economic Forum meeting thing, was that they are trying to rebuild trust. So they're like, oh, woe was us, we failed. We're still doing the right thing. We're on a noble mission, but the only reason we failed is because we've lost the trust of the people. So their mission is to regain our trust. And this is why they've infiltrated the podcast, like because it was working. The pushback, the alternative to the media worked long enough, and they embedded their people and they had their gatekeepers and meltdowns and this and that. Of course, we know the story. We've developed and joined the fray in the evolution of all that, which is why we're alternate. And then of course we've seen the growth of the independent media, but just in general, that growth of that style of journalism, the podcast form. They're like, okay, shit. This is where people have turned their attention to now. We need to go ahead and infiltrate that, control that. Social media, they dug their claws in real good there. But of course, it's debatable what the function of social media was from the beginning. That was probably its intent from the get-go, yeah. Anyways, but yeah, you see what I'm saying? It's like, so they come right out and say it. They're like, oh shit, nobody trusts the old guard. Nobody trusts the media. Nobody trusts the government. So now the media, the old guard media and the government now look like us and do what we do. Oh, why would they do that? Why would people in power? Oh, because they're trying to appeal to it's just like shit. So it's like, now we need to come up with something different to do, right?
Right, because they're grifters, and because they were writing an older school style of media and they lost they become non-relative anymore, right? As people's attention shifted to the internet. So it's like, yeah, you guys, make fun of us live streamers and early podcasters and all that. but then you saw your entire cable TV and corporate, bloody blahs all fall apart as their old styles just became more and more decrepit and less interesting to people under a certain age. And people that were not willing to put up with all the bullshit and the lies and, just it's sad. So there was a moment in time there. Did we lose someone? Did we lose Based? What happened there? Did he have to jump out?
Looks like we used base. He said, "Be
All
right
right.
back."
Okay. He
One
says
last quick point about this
oh,
too
he'll be
is it's
back.
like the timing of this in the day and age of AI and deep fakes cannot be ignored. So I don't want to sound like a crazy conspiracy theorist, but I'm just going to go ahead and throw it out there. I mean, if they're doing podcasts and this is the new, like, there's not even a studio, there's no live audience. How the living f do we literally know whether or not what we're seeing from like the Gavin Newsom podcast or even the Sean Ryan podcast, how do you know that's real? How do you know they're not just doing their AI deep fakes? I'm telling you, man, because again, I mean, they looked at us, they studied us. By us, I mean podcasters, people who do this type of journalism and reporting, and they just fed it into an LLM. And they took those people and their likenesses and their voices and their personalities and what they stand for, and they said, "Here you go, ChatGPT, Grok, do your thing." I'd be willing to bet money on it. I really, really would.
Well, and honestly, the amount of garbage they say anyway, it sounds like hallucination
Yeah,
on LLM. So
like for those fuckers, it's like, who really cares? I'm not watching
right.
them, short of clips that I find outrageous or interesting or, propaganda related.
We should take a transcript. They have these programs, so we'll take one of the transcripts and say, "Was this written by AI?"
We're all Ruckus. We are all already suffering the "is this real" factor. So don't zoom us out so far that we have to is the entire world AI? I don't know. I feel like I should have Matrix green things falling down over me when you pull me that far out into the zoom out. But you're right. You're right. It's not out of the realms of reality whatsoever. It's just like it jars me when it's like, okay, I want to. This is just my human brain here. I'm not criticizing what you said there, but as for me personally, it jars my psyche when it's like I'm already trying to compartmentalize everything that's fake and gay, right? Like I'm like a machine. It's like, okay, that's fake and gay, fake and gay, fake and gay, nuance, fake and gay. You know what I mean? Trying to put all this shit together, and then it's like, but I'm focused on individual things that I can compartmentalize. But then when I have to go like, oh, what if this entire, like I've already accepted, okay, space itself and NASA might be entirely fake and gay. Like I've been able to zoom out and into big compartmentalizations like that. Not still undecided on a lot of these things, but anyways, prove yourselves, I guess, would be my thing there. People have a hard time proving themselves with some of these claims, but when it's just like, okay, I think we're all susceptible to hitting a "is this fake" overload. I think I may be approaching the "is this fake" overload threshold, man. I guess that's all I'm trying to.
Well, what happened is that we were surmising and having a good time and laughing and joking so long about things being fake and gay. Now that we live in a world that is literally fake and literally gay, we don't know what the f to do with it, right?
Right. Oh my gosh. Hey, at least we can still laugh about it a little bit. Holy cow.
I'm an optimistic pessimist.
Hey,
Well, since we're using double speak here, right?
right? Right.
So can we play that Elon Musk clip that I just posted?
Yeah. Okay, let's see here.
Just to close that whole whiff.
Can you understand what he says?
Right.
So here is the issue, man. Like all this money and all those technocrats are just bunch of autistic, like highly functional autistic people that it's just insane that all this power are in these people's hand. It just does not make any sense to me.
Yeah. They don't think like we do. It's very clear. And when I say that, I don't even want to get into it. Fuck it.
Yeah.
They're not like us. That's all I'm gonna say. These people are not like us, much like politicians and
But here he is trying to make Tesla $6 trillion so that he can get his 1 trillion bonus.
Oh boy. Okay.
And actually, my prediction is in the benign scenario of the future that the robots will actually make so many robots and AI that they will actually
Hence the
saturate all
benign
human
scenario, huh?
needs. Meaning you won't be able to even think of something to ask the robot for at a certain point. Like there will be such an abundance of goods and services because my prediction is that there'll be more robots than people. So,
but how do you then have human purpose in that scenario?
Yeah, I mean, nothing's perfect, But,
yeah, there's nothing perfect. We don't need human purpose. There's nothing perfect here.
Human purpose? What?
There's nothing perfect.
That's perfect. Answer, we're building this world for the robots. You have no fucking purpose in life now. Hey, nothing's perfect, but the robots, they're gonna do everything for you. Like there's nothing you could want that the robots and the AI won't predict and bring to you. So you'll literally be the Kumpod picture of that Ruckus showed earlier. Just go away. Me and my robot and my AI are baiting, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm.
Baiting or mating?
Yeah, really. I'll let him. I'll let him continue.
Let him
finish. Here we go.
Yeah, let him finish.
I mean, it is a necessary. Like you can't have both. You can't have work that has to be done, and amazing abundance for all. Because if it's work that has to be done, then you and only some people can do it, then you can't have abundance.
Then it's narrow.
It's narrow, yeah. Exactly. So,
when did we transition to abundance for everybody? As I'm looking around right now at the people that I know, it's like they work themselves to the bone and or to the grave for the most part. They have to earn that cash to live, and then 40% of that goes immediately to the government, and then what's left gets kind of divvied up amongst life. Nobody's really and the abundance for all, is this a American battle cry or some kind of corporate battle cry? It sounds like gaslighting to me. I guess that's why.
100% is gaslighting because everybody's getting poorer. What? There is no fucking abundance whatsoever, and you're gonna get poorer and poorer.
Yeah, they're trying to figure out ways to charge you more and more. These guys right here, as they meet by that dumpster, I guess they're meeting by a silver dumpster.
Mm-hmm.
It's abundance for them.
That's right.
Oh, they're just like us. They mean the parking
not
lot.
for thee.
Let him finish so that we can
All right.
see his vision.
Okay, welcome back, Bays. We're getting Elon Musk talking about how we're finishing this clip of Elon Musk. He started out by telling us to paraphrase while you were gone that in the very near future, the robots and AI will be so awesome and so cool and so ubiquitous that you won't even be able to think of something that you want or need that they aren't already bringing to you. Okay, just to set the stage.
Well, hold on. You forgot something. And then when they asked him about human purpose, he said, "Well, you can't have everything."
Yeah, the interviewer said, "So what about human purpose?" And he's like, "Well, you can't have everything."
Let's see what he say.
All right.
But if you have billions of humanoid robots, and I think there will be, I think everyone on Earth is going to have one and going to want one, because who wouldn't want a robot to, assuming it's very safe, watch over your kids, take care of your pet. If you have elderly parents, a lot of friends of mine said they have elderly parents. It's very difficult to take care of them.
Expensive.
Yeah, it's expensive, and there just aren't enough people to take care of there aren't enough young people to take care of the old people.
Right.
So if you
say again,
the robot will be cheap, though.
Yeah. Right. Sure.
If you had a robot that could take care of and protect an elderly parent, I think that would be great. That would be an amazing thing to have. I think we will have those things. So I mean, overall, I'm very optimistic about the future. I think we're headed for a future of amazing abundance, which is very cool. And definitely, we are in the most interesting time in history. I think there's a more interesting time in history.
Yeah, a time with more scams we have not seen.
Yeah, I mean, he can't even. You can see how convincing he is. He can't even like. I don't know how to describe it. It's so pathetic. But here is the issue: is none of us, as we're sitting here, and none of those billions of people that he's about to, he wants to replace by robot and take their purpose in life, right? Have a say about this, right? Him and his other buddies and Trump by diverting our own tax money, right, to fund some of their technocratic wet dreams, right? And eventually bailing them when all this AI bubble fails, right? Is helping them. And then we're sitting right here with no say whatsoever, and it's a future that's being forced on us. And that is not okay. That is not okay. And people should not be okay with that. Because
Like
fuck
what?
these people.
Like what if
Fuck Musk.
a lot of people think this is, this whole AI thing, in particular, all the resources that are being funneled into it, moved into it, so much so that they have to quite literally act imperialistically and move Earth, right? Move Earth from one section to another to refine it to make these data factories and stuff like that, right? Like there was a similar rush in the late 90s, the mid and late 90s, all the way through the 90s pretty much, as the .com sort of financial ecosphere became huge on Wall Street. And if you were around in year 2000, 2001, there was a massive bubble that burst there. Like there was all this hype around being, CEO, being tech giant. Everybody was like, oh, Google's so cool. Look, they don't have office buildings. They have a campus. It's got slides.
AOL is so cool.
AOL is so
Information
cool.
superhighway.
All this stuff's so cool, right? Like you can't go wrong. Every venture capital money flowing into, any new .com thing. A bubble built around it, and it popped in 2000, the year I graduated with my bachelor's degree in computer science, by the way. It was like we all, speaking for me and everybody at the two colleges I went to, did, both my sophomore years and both my junior years there. Hey, we all in the tech departments were like, yeah, you guys are going to be hot shit. You guys are going to be highly employable. No, a bubble burst. And I can't help but think, like, just to your comment there, Pharaoh, that, this is ripe ground for a massive bubble, a massive rug pull. And I see people posting about that, under this very post right here. There's a lot of this AI stuff is built on a house of cards. Like don't get me wrong, there's massive power here and a big paradigm shift is coming, but the way it's being pumped at us, for example, fake accounts, fake AI engagement, data brokers selling and buying user accounts with fake followers, Facebook, X, Meta, TikTok, YouTube, Google, Apple, XAI, OpenAI, ChatGPT. This is happening across all of these things in ways that are difficult to track and even understand as it pertains to how they want the public to understand the current state of artificial intelligence.
Yeah, and the issue is not it's not even AI technology itself. It's the useless infrastructure they are pumping like billions of dollars right now into it. Right? That like there is no reason for this infrastructure. Why don't we invest actually in building better AI models that need less power so that we don't consume resources. If you're talking about the green agenda, isn't it actually better to take those trillions of dollars they are pumping into building like data centers right now into actually inventing new algorithms of AI that require less resources to run? Isn't this a better model? But no, because it's a scam. Because NVIDIA was falling and they had to start building this circular financing scam that they are doing right now, right?
And
yeah, go ahead, Baze.
I'm sorry to interrupt. Yeah, I mean, Infidel, like your point is so good because it reminds me of the rush in Russia, right, with the collapse of the Soviet Union when they were selling those tickets and stuff, and everybody could get a piece of the market, and then the oligarchs made it, and then or became oligarchs, and then the rest of it was just a big empty scam, or like any like tulip fever or any of the classic crashes. And Hesher brought up the internet bubble burst. I mean, we continuously see this, and I think that like the big problem with the AI thing is what you were saying, Infidel, like that it's language models that just feed you until there's a real AI. And I think that a lot of this stuff is just mythology. It's just like mythologizing the future. That's what Elon's do. It's just PR, and it's so far distant. I'm with Sam Hyde on this. Like, I think that the humanoid, like personal humanoid robot thing is so far away that it's like the Boston Dynamics videos. They came out with a new one recently because they sold it to Hyundai or whatever. And they look at these robots, but the product to me seems to be the video itself. It's so far away from being anything. Whereas the reality is like the automated vacuum cleaner in the hallway or whatever, which is fine. Those things are useful. And unless Elon is doing this to populate Mars or whatever he wants to do with robots, like in a Promethean sense, I just think that I guess it's really pointing towards like the Blade Runner, the new Alien series model, which is that the corporations become their own entities, their own nation states in the future. And with Peter Thiel and when he's still alive in 500 years. And those the patriarchs of Rome or whatever is what they want, the patricians. But otherwise, it's just we're all gonna eat shit. It's just we eat our slave slop and consume our doom scroll glop. And when's there going to be really something? I thought this whole thing was about we're all going to get our money, and Trump said that if we're going to invade a country, we keep the oil and we're all going to have money. Which I believed. No,
we found out it's going to actually cost us like $8 billion, I think, or was it 88? I don't know. I said the number last week, just to get the oil for the companies first. So instead of us getting money and getting oil, we all gotta shell out, So there's another classic flip flop right there, like the quite literally going from you're gonna get money, we're gonna get the oil, you're gonna get money to we want your money to do this imperial action.
Yeah, and back to that point, those large language model, they are reaching their capacity. There is right now that technology. I truly believe it's reaching its limit, and the future is just really going back to more of the specialized models, right, and building more of those combined intelligent models working together. But I just back to your point about humanoid, I posted a clip about just to show you. I mean, this is actually real like footage, not the last one, the one before, of a humanoid going crazy. So that technology is still.
Oh yeah, I remember this one. Yeah, go ahead and talk about it.
No, I just want to say that technology is still like not prime yet, right? And he can try to sell whatever he wants to sell right now, but it's just pure PR.
There it is, freaking out.
And imagine one of those crazy motherfuckers just freak out and just kills you. Seriously, because it can kill you.
Well, you'll need the natural enemy of the robotic element, which is the homeless person, right? They will destroy any robotic thing anywhere. You just put a methed out homeless guy in front of that thing, and he'll destroy it just by instinct.
Mm-hmm.
But that's not good.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's I mean, what's happening right now? It's a theft. It's a theft like that started. They started this grand theft during COVID, right? And I was just reading today. 40% of the U.S. dollars that exist right now in circulation has been created since 2020. Like, even like, can you imagine that number? 40% of the US dollar in circulation was created in the last fucking 5 years. And where do you think all this money went? It went to those fuckers and those top percent corporations and that massive wealth transfer that happened in COVID. And I remember that boiler room when that in March 2020, when that shit happened. And when I said, this is what's happening right now is the biggest wealth transfer. And it's just continuing right now. And it's just pure scam.
That's
I trust the science.
It became normal. It was like
it became normal.
It was like this hammer, this axe just fell in 2020, and it was like, okay, the powers that be are just going to do whatever they want, no matter how ridiculous it sounds.
But they gave us a stimulus check.
Yeah, they gave you a couple.
And everybody was happy, right?
Yeah,
$2,000 stimulus check.
A little bit of hush money, a little bit of money to stay silent while you basically enter into a world that none of your grandparents would have fought and died for those of you out there that have relatives that were in the military.
So now play that last clip by Trump from the WIF.
Last clip from Trump at the WEF. All right. Here you go. Share this tab. Let me cue it up for you out there. I'll even put it in full glorious screen. Here's what he had to say. No baby AI this time.
No baby AI.
Raw, unadulterated. This is Donald Trump attending and speaking at the World Economic Forum annual meeting Davos 2026. If that tells you much, I don't know. We'll see. Here we go. I'll say it again. There's no way on fucking earth you can make the WEF or Davos cool, conservative, or patriotic or American.
But they've got musical acts.
Oh, well, yeah, they got hookers and musical acts.
Remember that lady a few years ago, the opening act, the one who was like,
oh yeah, I do remember.
You remember that?
I do remember the one.
Sounds like a day that ends in Y in Las Vegas to me, but okay. Here we go. Trump.
I have to say one thing about housing because nobody ever says this. I am very protective of people that already own a house, of which we have millions and millions and millions. And because we have had such a good run, the house values have gone up tremendously. And these people have become wealthy. They weren't wealthy. They become wealthy because of their house. And every time you make it more and more and more affordable for somebody to buy a house cheaply, you're actually hurting the value of those houses, obviously, because the one thing works in tandem with the other. And I don't want to do anything that's going to hurt the value of people that own a house who, for the first time in their lives, are walking around the streets of whatever city they're in, very proud that their house is worth $500,000, $600,000, $700,000. Now, if I want to really crush the housing market, I could do that so fast and people could buy houses, but you would destroy a lot of people that already have houses. In some cases, they've mortgaged their house and the mortgage would be very low. And all of a sudden, the mortgage without any changes becomes very high and they end up losing the house.
Yeah, so the inflation that was created during COVID, housing prices that went up almost almost doubled in cities where I am right now. Housing almost doubled since COVID. It's insane. It's insane, right?
Yeah, it's
And
crazy
he's
here too,
trying
man.
to sell that to you, right? As if that's making you proud and it's making you, you know, you have a house, you own a house that is worth $600,000. Yeah, and you're paying a mortgage that you can't afford because you can't pay groceries and pay your mortgage. It is so stupid and so idiotic. But this is the level we're in right now. And nobody has the guts to actually stand there and correct that shit. This is why it is just inevitable, just gonna collapse. It just so I just saw today silver is 103 right today. As of
Yeah,
now,
dude.
silver is $103. Crazy.
Yep.
What? I mean, dude, I have to keep upping the price. I have a 1 silver coin, an ounce worth for sale on eBay, and every couple days I have to change the price.
Keep it, man. That's gonna be your ticket, your golden ticket. Who knows? Maybe it will be worth $1 million soon.
You mean my silver ticket?
Yeah. Yeah.
You need to
I heard they were
invade
putting
Peru.
limits. Yeah. Sorry.
So, okay, Burning Beard sent me a little video here. I want to play this for people that might not be familiar with Zbigniew Brzezinski.
And then check out my clip, my 50-second clip there.
Okay, cool. Because this kind of this sort of dovetails with what we were talking about there about media takeovers, like that PR push to change someone's narrative. Think like, JD Vance's, Tulsi Gabbard's, all the people that sort of floated in there. People, when the public loses trust in something, you'll see a lot of this rebranding. And that's part of the theme tonight. Peace Incorporated, brought to you by the Department of War, because it's so much more complex than it may appear to the casual Fox viewer or MSNBC viewer.
That was the classic Rockefeller model, right? I think he's the first guy that started that. And then Bill Gates did the same thing. The rebrand, the makeover.
These pieces of context are left out, by those networks. So most people don't tend to think about it. But anyways, this is Zbigniew Brzezinski speaking at the Council of Foreign Relations in Montreal in 2010.
In all of human
Probably helps if I unmute it.
mankind is politically awakened. National affairs is that for the first time in all of human history, mankind is politically awakened. That's a total new reality. Total new reality. It has not been so for most of human history until the last 100 years. And in the course of the last 100 years, the whole world has become politically awakened. And no matter where you go, politics is a matter of social engagement. And most people know what is generally going on in the world, and are consciously aware of global iniquities, inequalities, lack of respect, exploitation. Mankind is now politically awakened and stirring. The combination of the two, a diversified global leadership, politically awakened masses, makes a much more difficult context for any major power, including currently the leading world power, the United States.
I really enjoyed your presentation, but I'm wondering, how would you rate the United Nations in helping solve some of the geopolitical problems we've had? Some people say they're not adding a lot of solutions, and some people even suggest we should have another organization internationally that can do the job that the United Nations should be doing. And even people are talking about one world governments. I mean, how do you view the UN right now?
Well, there should be such an organization. The word should implies that there is a kind of moral imperative or need for it. But it doesn't exist. Why doesn't it exist? Because we don't have a situation in which there is a concentrated source of power that has universal reach. Not even America has that. So the United Nations functions well in areas in which it is possible to generate consensus. And that deals usually with elements pertaining to human suffering or to well-being or to health. For example, the Food Organization, the Health Organization, the relief agencies, or arbitration of conflicts of secondary importance, in which the international community can kind of endorse what the UN is doing. But the UN is not a world government. The UN, when it comes to politics, is based on a fiction, namely 190 states, which are members, each of which is co-equal with the others, except for the 5 that have the veto right in the Security Council. So it is an organization which reflects the ongoing diversity of the world.
Okay, I'm going to stop that right there. Thanks for submitting that, bro. And yeah, that is pretty interesting right there, right? Those of you that know Brzezinski's work, we're already probably thinking about him before we played the clip there. But yeah, talking about, specifically there about this sort of where we're at right now, this post, what has been referred to as the post-truth era right now. Anyways, Bays.
Check out Jay for full coverage of Brzezinski's
Yeah,
work,
for
so he does
full Brzezinski coverage right there. Yeah, absolutely. Bays, thoughts on that, or set up this next clip that you got for us?
Well, with Brzezinski, I mean, that was a great classic clip, and people forget that he found the CFR when he one of the founders of that.
Yeah, I believe he's a.
I mean, he's like the arch, one of the arch globalists, and it's worth looking into his other stuff. I saw recently an old clip of him debating. I think it was a neocon. This guy was saying, well, it was recent. I mean, before he died, but he was saying, well, we need to affect change in Russia the way that they think. And Brzezinski was like, what do you mean affect change? Militarily, or an invasion, or economic, economic attacks, or what are you talking about? And it was an interesting debate because it was Brzezinski actually, sort of going at this guy who was doing the typical equivocation and sort of abstract speak that we normally get in the feeds. And you see this arch globalist, really pressing him on this is going to mean something. You have to give something concrete. But in the same debate, he's asked about conspiracy theories, and he goes on to say, well, he sort of defines the conspiracies. It's like these things are, open that I'm a part of, but it's not really what people think. So anyway, it's worth looking into his books. The clip that I put in there is a classic Tucker bit from a few years ago at the WF, the entertainment.
Oh yeah, nice.
Time to check in with our lizard overlords in Davos, Switzerland. What are they up to? Well, this.
Thank you for watching.
Okay. Make it stop. Oh God, I can't make it go away.
Oh, those were simpler times.
Right. Much simpler. Oh boy.
Guys, I gotta peace out.
All right, Infidel. I mean, Mystical Pharaoh. It was wonderful having you here tonight,
Thanks,
man.
guys. Cheers, everybody.
Peace, man. Peace.
All right.
See you, Pharaoh.
Bye.
There goes Mystical Pharaoh. What else do we got, guys? What else do we got, Ruckus? I know we had something else we need to talk about tonight. Are we done? Have we said enough about the Board of Peace, or do we need to say more and play more about the Board of Peace? First of all, that's my main question.
I think there is a handful of diehard go get 'em gonzo journalists doing the hard work. I don't think we need to spend a lot of time on it. But I think you get the idea, the inversion here. It's a continuation of this. It's less doublespeak than it is more so gaslighting and a satanic inversion. This concept of, peace and war and flipping everything on its head is pretty wild to me.
Yes.
But I mean, it's a sign of the times, not biblically speaking, but I mean, it's just an indication. If you were to do a temperature check of where we're at right now, like, yep, this all this all fits. This all makes sense. All the pieces are definitely a part of the same puzzle. It's just, what is that puzzle? Well, we think it's technocracy, right? Isn't that the ultimate goal at the end of the day?
Grand chessboard.
Yeah, just track and trace and surveil everybody and do micromanage every part of their life and automatically deduct all of their carbon credit taxes and everything. Yay, winning. But it's okay. It's cool because we got robots. So yeah, I guess that makes everything better. Yeah, I'm so happy. I'm just, well, what happened to this country? I'm done.
Correction real quick. It was the Trilateral Commish. Thank you.
There you go.
A burning beard. Yeah.
CFR was a Rockefeller outfit.
Right. Yeah. Also a good shout out there to corbettreport.com/flashback-Brzezinski there. Corbett Report's always a good repository for, short and long form catch up.
What do they say? If we don't know our
that.
history, we're doomed to repeat it or something like that?
George Santayana.
My bad.
His heart goes out to you. Can I just plug this real quick? Alfred McCoy, The Politics of Heroin, just published a new book. I just picked it up. Cold War on 5 Continents. So I'll be looking into this one this week. Brand new book, which I think will address some of the things that we're talking about, because Alfred McCoy is the GOAT. So check this out if you guys are interested.
Right on. Cold War on 5 continents. For the audio listeners, just repeat that one more time. So they got it. Let's see what else. Let's Board of Peace. I'm over it at this point. I do think it's who defines peace at this point, right? And who is enforcing it? I think that's just the questions that I would leave you.
We touched upon it very briefly, but again, I'll just remind you again, in order to join this Board of Peace, you need to pay $1 billion with a B.
Yeah. So, you being someone that has that kind of cash,
Yeah.
You being a country, a representative from a country. I mean, who are the entities that can actually pay that money? Is it just Joe Blow who, won the Powerball? If he's $1 billion, can he join the Board of Peace? Or, can Estonia join for $1 billion? You know what I mean? It's just like, who are all the definitions are fucky. This is why people are like, I don't even understand this.
Can we get a billion people together to each donate $1, and now we get representation on the Board of Peace?
It's a dark pun. The joke's on us. They're actually bored of peace. They're tired of it.
Right. Yeah.
There's always that.
It's the other spelling, the other board.
Joke's on you.
Yeah. Well, when you have a Department of War, you're clearly BOERD of peace. Yeah.
And it was announced just today that the United States is withdrawing from the World Health Organization over if you can believe this, I guess I'm allowed to say this, don't get mad, YouTube, over the handling of the COVID pandemic. Go figure.
I don't buy it. I don't believe it. It sounds like a bullshit story to me. I'm not saying it's not the case. I'm just saying they've done this before. This whole I feel like this administration does things like that when it wants a wave of support, when it's trying to grab some people's attention back, it'll do something like that where it's like, oh, okay, a lot of people that watch this program, for example, that resonates with them. And they're like, okay, that's a good thing. And, inherently it is a good thing. I just never believe them because they've pulled out before and then gone back in. And even if they've pulled out and even if they didn't sign that stupid, treaty or whatever they were trying to call that thing that the WHO was pushing for so long, along with the WEF. Even if all that, I don't trust them at all when it comes to this global health thing. I don't trust them at all to not follow their advice or have some other stooge in the CDC that would pony up and follow their advice under any fucking narrative they come up with. But hey, cool. But I remember the other thing that was the last time they did pull out, they rerouted all the money. That was the other thing. They rerouted all the money to like Gavi and Gil Bates's companies and NGOs and all this other fake philanthropic stuff. So even when they back out of something like that that makes sense, it's like, where are they going to put it next? Because I saw what
Hold
you
on.
did last time.
Question: Isn't Trump based? I mean, he's pulling out of this thing. Oh, he did warp speed in the first place.
By
By the way, where is Fauci? Is he still?
He's retired and pardoned, pre-pardoned, pardoned for nothing. For we don't know, but he still makes little appearances on Capitol Hill. Last I saw, like they'll have Rand Paul will grill him down for a little while, and they'll put on a show over there on Capitol Hill. But nothing ever seems to happen, and even if it did, I don't know. This is just again with the stupidity, because it's like, okay, well, was that pardon, that mass pardon, was that all done with auto pen? Because Trump's going to cancel out the auto pen things. So it's like he was pre-pardoned, and then Trump's going to cancel out those. It's so stupid. This whole thing, like this being like these being the stupid narratives around like the hoping for accountability for the uh transgressions during the COVID era is a done and dusted deal at this point. Like, get the fuck over it. Like, if this is all we get, 6 years later, we're gonna pull out of the WHO again, and I'm gonna blame
But
it on
I
that.
trust that they indicted the Clintons and that something's going to happen.
Yeah, right.
Over the stupid Epstein stuff.
Epstein,
yeah.
Of all things, well, are people still talking about Epstein?
Even what's his face, the guy they called the QAnon shaman, like even he's just like over Trump at this point, and it's because of Epstein. He's just like, I don't really need a reason to be over this guy. Like the fact that happened, that didn't happen, is enough for him to lose my support. And a lot of people just lost it right then and there. Like that was the last straw for a lot of fucking people.
The thing, though, about the withdrawing from the world, every time he does something where he's like, we're not doing it this way anymore because that was bad, he comes up with another alternative Trump-branded version of the same thing.
Yeah, that's true.
So,
So
he's
maybe
got
he
the
can
board of
profit off
peace.
this.
Is he going to create a board of health? What the hell would they call this? Like, man, if they're doing double speak stuff, what are they going to implement? They're just going to put they're like, well, we didn't get everybody with those transgressions, as you put it, Hesher, the sharp, pointy ones. So we got to come up with another way to finish everybody off, and we'll call it the Department of Happy Living, and we're going to put domes over people's cities, and we're going to pump the special air inside of it that makes you happy and live longer. Yeah, that's it.
It's kind of like how the body positive thing just totally reversed into Ozempic, and now all of the weight companies are selling the injections, which is crazy because you hear people talk about like, oh no, it destroys your ocular nerves. It's made of Gila monster venom and all this kind of crazy stuff. But surely at the very least, the massive number of people that are injecting this shit are gonna there will be blowback. Maybe that's it. Maybe that's the delivery system for who they didn't get. I don't know.
Oh man. Yeah, isn't it crazy how we went from the whole body positivity thing, like you're forced to have that. Like now you're supposed to have both, right? Like now it's like society's already been kind of like torqued and bent and told that, hey, you can't worry about people if they're, using food, to medicate their soul or whatever in a way that is hurting their body. You're not allowed to say that, right? A doctor's not even allowed to say that. Like doctors up until 2017 or so used to tell people like, hey, you might be hurting yourself with your body mass index. And then all of a sudden it was like, no, that's normal, that's cool, you're a model. Anyone that tells
Stunning
you
and brave.
otherwise is stunning and brave. Anyone that tells you otherwise is a bigot and all that stuff. But now it's like, okay, well, everybody take the drugs. So it's like you got to be. It's just more dissonance for people to deal with. You know what I mean? And in such a short span of time, like you have to grow this new like moral compass associated with this medicine. And it's just like, what the fuck is going on here? But hey, shout out to South Park for not playing along. They know they're not afraid to point it out for what it is. And yeah, man, like people, you know, like show me a weight loss drug that has done good in all of history overall and hasn't had side effects and hurt people. And some of the like side effects that we have seen people say that they have include and seen doctors report that people experience include, and you can see them on the freaking commercials. So don't come at us, YouTube, with your medical misinformation stuff. We're just repeating what we see on the commercials for these things and in the news articles and in some of the publications. People have eye problems, bone density problems, all kind of crazy things happen to some people. I hear some people are very happy with it, but I don't know enough about it. I'm not a fucking doctor, at least not that kind. And but I do have questions about the long-term usage of that stuff because I know people that are on it and I don't want them to have their eyes not work or their bones become brittle. It's that easy.
And it lowers their immune system.
I know a damn medical grift when I see one. Damn it.
Yeah, I heard it does terrible things to women. Really gnarly.
I just people just adopt my diet. I drink a pot of coffee every day, and I smoke like a chimney, and I'm thin as a rail, yo.
Hey, you don't need no Ozempic.
It's not medical advice. I'm just kidding.
All you gotta do is follow the Ruckus format, and you too can have a bod like Ruckus.
Skinny, unhealthy, no missing all his teeth. That's right, kids. You want to be like Ruckus when you grow up.
Oh my gosh, I don't even want to get into this one. Canadian woman was euthanized against her will. Someone, I think Pharaoh brought this one in before the show there. I'll just flash it on the screen.
GTFO, this can't be real.
Yeah, a Canadian woman euthanized against her will after her husband was fed up with caring for her. This is from the dreaded Daily Mail, so truth mileage may vary, but there is a story there. I don't really want to get into it right now. It's just too damn grim. Too damn grim.
Remember the doctor with the death pods in like Germany?
Yeah.
And they found out that like there were strangulation marks on the first person. That was whatever happened with that.
I don't know. You so rarely see follow-ups on these things or documentaries or like, you know what I mean? Like you got to like dive into the depths of Reddit if you want to ask questions like that to the internet these days. And Reddit is no thanks.
Norm Macdonald said that Dr. Kevorkian, should not have been trusted. They should have known when they called him Dr. Death, right? Why did they keep going to him?
Yep. Yeah. Yeah, amazing. I remember when Kevorkian was the thing. It was, he was sort of the
he looked like it too, didn't he?
Yeah, he looked like sort of like he had the kind of that Joe Biden look or that preacher from Poltergeist 2 look,
Carol Lamb. That guy.
As a youth, though, he was the one, like in my mind, he was the one that won all the arguments. You know what I mean? Like when I was a young guy and I would see Kevorkian debate the topic, it would be like for young people that don't know, Dr. Jack Kevorkian was sort of one of the first. He sort of pioneered or brought to the public the idea of assisted suicide for people that were suffering heavily. And
he had a patented and trademarked suicide machine.
He did.
He would bring in.
Yeah. And there was battles between religious institutions and states. There was battles between the states and governments and inside of city council. I mean, it was a whole mess. It was crazy back then. I don't know when this was. It's like the late 80s, early 90s, probably when this was popping off and big in the news and in a lot of court cases and stuff. And it was like, we're on the tail end of the satanic panic at this point. The world, the conservative movement, if you will, was very evangelical at this period in time. You know, it was like, so it was almost, it wasn't quite up there with the abortion argument, but it would like kind of bump up against those same feels for people religiously and politically at the time. And like,
It was the only scandal.
yeah, it
It was
really
like the only
was.
salacious thing. Everything was great. Other than that.
Yeah. And now it's like you look at all the places where the stuff like this is going on, and you start seeing headlines like this: Canadian woman euthanized against her will after husband was fed up caring for her, and all the strange things that Spore has brought up, and people have submitted to Spore that came up in icebreakers for like, strange new, like, technocratic or newfangled death rituals and stuff like this, people getting encased in spore pods or planted under a tree, or all these strange things. But it's like, or the one where they someone sold their grandma to science, or they signed grandma signed her body away to science, and guys on the military blowing up her body as it's flying in all kind of weird shit happens, is what I'm saying here, man. It's gotten super morbid. There's suicide is just like legal all over the place. Sometimes it says in this article down here that in some cases in Canada, you can get approved for suicide in less than 20 or within 24 hours. That's pretty crazy. Like when I was a kid, it was a debate whether it was doable at all. At all. Is this okay? Is this moral? Is this right?
Results not typical. Your experience may vary.
Yeah. Now you like, I'm not being hyperbolic here. We've had a lot of stories on this show that we've looked at, like young people in their 20s, especially in particular in Canada, who have gone and submitted themselves to the medical system and said, "Hey, I'm fucking depressed and I don't want to be here anymore." And they helped them end their life. Can you imagine that? A young person coming and saying, "Hey," essentially, ideating about these sort of things, and not saying we can help you or you need help or let us figure a way to help you. It's like, no, let us delete you. Let us unalive.
You and Cameron was like, I invented that. We had a whole CIA thing. We put on a football helmet on him and gave them messages that, wiped their mind. And they thought that was normal.
Right.
Crazy. But I mean, it's crazy because the medical establishment is so bent on ending you in any way. I mean, it's kind of like the organ donor bullshit. I had a friend who was in a minor car accident when we were 19 and he was fine. And they were like, no, he's got a heart. And that was it for him because he was an organ donor. I was, sort of hyperbolic, but I mean, my dad defended a guy, he's a lawyer, he defended a guy who had to get his leg amputated from like gangrene, and they cut off the wrong leg.
Oops, that's unfortunate.
Yeah. So when they say like right on your leg and magic marker, like not this leg, like you really have to do that.
Yeah.
Dude, well, I was looking for an excuse not to sleep tonight. That'll do it. Wow, bro. I hate to say it, but I'm about to make the case for robots doing surgery because I'm skeptical they would make such a simple mistake. But
yeah.
You never know.
You gotta have steady hands, though, man. The arms on that other one we saw tonight were looking pretty floppy.
There's this clip that I've been like replaying over and over again because it's on one of the YouTube channels I follow. He includes it. He does supercuts all the time and replays them on all of his freaking videos. So it's stuck in my head, but it's from like some time ago, but it's Melania Trump talking about robots and AI. And she says, the robots are here. Our future is not science fiction. She's like, robot doctors have steady hands. And then Melania Trump, of all people, talking about, we have AI in the military. And I'm just like, what? This lady, of all people? And it's just like, yeah, and the robots with steady hands. That's what I thought of when every time she says it. But it's just like, they're not kidding. They're like, what is left? There's not, all that's left is aliens. We have every other element of like science fiction and fantasy in real life. We have like real life vampires. We have trolls, right? We got online trolls, right?
Yep.
We've got
flying cars.
We got
You got
zombies.
ogres.
Yeah. Oh,
Zombies.
yeah. We got all of this shit, and just not the aliens yet, unless you count the Somalians running the daycares, right?
Did you say ogres based?
Yeah, that Rex Hoyerman guy, right? That serial killer. He's like a real life ogre. Everybody who came across him described him as an actual ogre.
That's what Bigfoot is. I thought everyone knew this.
Look at me. I am the alien now. Did you guys see that movie Bugonia? Speaking of that,
Not yet. I was looking
You
at
check
it the
it
other night on streaming services, and it's still like premium prices. So I'm waiting for it to get free.
it's two conspiracy theorists that
Yeah.
kidnap a CEO. It's funny because he's listening to podcasts and shit. And at one point, I was like, "Is that Jay?" When he's riding his bike. But he's like, I've been through all the rabbit holes and everything, and then he comes up with the alien shit. But I won't spoil it. But you should watch it. That was good.
Yeah, it looked pretty good. It looked pretty good, man. I'm definitely gonna check it out. You're not the first person to recommend it too. People that know me are like, have you seen Begonia yet? And I'm just like, no, not yet, but I know I need to. Well, let's see here. Shit, I'm running out of steam, you guys. We hit the 2-hour mark. I say we make sure we didn't forget anything and then shut it the heck down here. Ruckus, have we forgotten anything that we needed to cover tonight? Like, I mean, you know what I mean? I could go through and I could show the pictures of the dreams of these idiots and what they think they're going to make with their new little Riviera in foreign countries and stuff like that, and how much we're going to have to pay for them. But I'll just link that on the show page for everyone, because it will just frustrate you to know about the $10 billion, the $500,000, the $25 billion, the $3 billion, the $1.5 billion that it's going to take to do the master plan and create new Rafah and new Gaza. So, you know, we'll skip all that for you. Maybe we'll talk about that on Sunday Wire this weekend. But Ruckus, anything else you want to throw out there, or we need to throw down before we shut this down tonight?
In case everybody missed it and you're wondering, just how bad is it, everybody? It's so bad that gold and silver, we were just talking about this, hit an all-time high. Anyways, that's not good news for the US dollar, of course. There's this one, I'm going to send you the link. One little thing happened. It happened, I think, just the day we were, a few days. I mean, we could have or should have talked about it when you and I did one the other night, Hesher, but it totally slipped my mind. I don't know if you saw this, but it's a continuation of what now can be called a trend, because we saw this happen in Texas and we did talk about it, but now it's happened in Florida, like in Texas and in Florida now. Interesting. But yeah, check this out. The cops show up at this lady's door, concerned that she might be going out and harming somebody and or the community, or somebody else might go out and harm somebody or members of the community because of something she said on Facebook. Because we do, of course, live in the UK, where this happens frequently. No, we don't live in the UK. We live in America. We still have free speech. And just like the Texas one was anti-Semitic stuff. Well, guess what this involves? This involves a little country by the name of Israel, and some comments that this person made geared and directed towards the mayor, if I'm not mistaken. And it devolves from there. But you get the idea. But the cops, the detective, they show up at her door. They want to talk to her, want to have a little conversation with her. We're concerned about what you posted on social media. Like, what the F is happening, dude? Like, this should not be a trend. This shit needs to stop, like full stop, like right freaking meow. This is not good,
Yeah, Florida mom and small business owner says her rights were violated when Miami Beach police officers showed up unannounced at her home to question her about a Facebook comment criticizing city leadership. Raquel Pacheco, a 51-year-old immigrant mother, military veteran, and owner of a translation company, recorded a video of two Miami Beach police officers coming up. Yeah, dude. Wow. Saying that, so the cops came to her house to tell her that they were afraid that her post could incite somebody to do something. So that sounds like harassment to me. That looks like a similar harassment as that person here in Central Texas faced. You're right.
I thought that lady was like an enemy of them. Was she like on the enemies list of the mayor. Is that what you're
Right?
saying?
Like, what the hell? So she sounds like she would be someone that voted for that mayor almost. Like 51, immigrant, mother, military veteran, owner of translation company. I mean, that sounds like a pretty normal person, whether she's a Democrat or Republican or independent, doesn't really matter. Like, that's a pretty, you know what I mean? This doesn't sound like it's just a small snapshot of defining what a person is. I don't know much more than that. But if like that's the image they're giving of that person, I don't know. I'd have to see their post. I'd have to see
Correct
their
me if
post.
I'm wrong, but the reporting that I'd seen about the story digs into the beef that she had with the mayor, and it has to do with his stance about Israel stuff. So he's like he's very Zionist aiming, and she's very like, hey, no, I'm not. So
But
again,
imagine the cops even showing up and like
yeah.
fulfilling this thing.
Wild. Just the fact that over Facebook posts. I mean, come on, people.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. I don't care what country you're in. Shouldn't have to worry about this kind of shit.
We're talking about X giving out like a threat of assessment scores with these prompts and stuff, right? Grok. I mean, like, but those same types of threat assessment scores are used to target these individuals. Was there something that flagged? You have to wonder sometimes, or was this just like a vendetta kind of a thing? Well, I don't know anymore.
All right.
You have to wonder.
Here's the part we need to add context on. According to screenshots and video reviewed by The Advocate, the Facebook comment criticized Miami Beach Mayor Stephen Miner's record and rhetoric, accusing him of hypocrisy on inclusivity and LGBT blah issues. In the comment, Pacheco wrote that the mayor consistently calls for the death of all Palestinians, quote unquote, is what Pacheco wrote, reported here at The Advocate. Criticized efforts to shut down a theater over a film, accused him of refusing to stand up for the LGBT community in any way, and said he even leaves the room when they vote on related matters, before ending with a sarcastic message that residents were all welcome here, followed by clown emojis. So like very like you got to wonder, because they very much minimized the Palestinian part there, as far as like what her stance is and what other kind of feathers she might have ruffled. You know what I mean?
That could be the fault of the source I gave you, because that was like an LGBTQ source that I found at random. I was just looking for a more recent reporting on it that wasn't CBS or something stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, again, probably find truth in the bottom of a Reddit barrel, or 2 hours of looking through on X and everything like that. But I mean, it's not looking good. We also had, in that same sort of WTF, like, what does this mean regard before the show here? Who was that? Was that Daniel, I think, in our Discord posted another one about Florida, right? Or was that Pharaoh?
What about Don Lemon going into that church?
Oh, Don Lemon, dude. Yeah, people are upset about that one.
That's not going anywhere. I mean, like all of these things, it's like you just wait 24 hours and it's like completely changed. But yes, they were threatening Don Lemon with the KKK Act on Martin Luther King Jr. days when they announced they were going to do that, by the way. So it's like, it's all this rage baity, in your face, silly, inverted stuff. You know what I'm saying? But like, that one would have that's an interesting thing if they decided to pursue that. That's a chilling effect to journalism. Take it for what it is. And the whole thing was a staged act and he's a clown, but you have to defend the fact that a journalist has a right to be there and not be charged with, well, you didn't stop it while you were there, kind of a thing. It's so silly to me. I don't know.
Yeah. No, it's ridiculous.
But they're not going to, I guess the judges all got together and blocked. I don't think it's happening anyway.
What did he do? He went into the middle of the church. I didn't see the video.
It wasn't him. There were protesters. I don't know how he caught wind of this or whatever and got involved, but there were protesters that went in, decided to interrupt a church service as it was happening, because one of the pastors, who wasn't even at the church at the time when they did this, allegedly has an association with being in his off time, instead of being just a pastor, he's an ICE agent. So they went in there and started their little anti-ICE crap. I mean, it was pretty over the top and wild and inappropriate, I thought, especially for I mean, there were people I'm like, dude, I'm like, man, I'm not gonna lie. These are just normal Christians just going to church. They're like getting caught up in all the. It was terrible. And this jerk, jackass, idiot, dumb fuck, Don Lemon, doing his like, how do you feel about these people coming in your church? You're like, man, we're just trying to pray, dude. I love you,
like,
man.
Get your hands off of me, sir.
Yeah,
Guys, like, we're here
so
about
horrible.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was ridiculous. So then they're like, we're going to throw the book of this guy because he knew about this and it's a conspiracy and he's acting. KKK Act and all this shit. It was wild, man. And I just like, he's guilty of a lot of shit, but I think they were going overboard with trying to pull in the KKK thing.
Yeah.
And then the KKK made that statement. Or no, not K. I'm sorry. Total opposite. The Black Panthers. I'm sorry. Total opposite. The Black Panthers made some statement this week about like, no, we're not. We don't support these the protests. In fact, we're on the opposite side. Did you see that bit?
No, I didn't.
They were like, no, we don't like any of these people. We like Americans. I don't know. Who cares? I guess. But.
Oh boy.
And then Trump then did his speech about the Hells Angels. I love the Hells Angels. They're good guys. We love them. They're rough people. They got me elected.
Everybody did. Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, all right. Good. All right, you guys. I got to shut this down. It's time to go. I want to thank you both for being here tonight. Thanks to Mystical Pharaoh as well. And thank you out there in the X's, the Rumbles, the YouTubes, the alternate current radio.coms and the Boiler Room Discord. We appreciate you guys being here with us tonight. Based, save rounds, final thoughts, anything you want to say on the way out, be sure and shout out your site and where people can get your book and all that stuff.
Yeah, man. We're about to have Snowpocalypse 26 here, apparently. And hopefully we'll everything will be shut down for a week. I'm looking forward to it. Snow and ice. So if you're in the mid-Atlantic corridor or whatever, I hope you're safe. Please check out my book, Runes, available on Amazon. It's under my name right there. It's called Runes. It is $12. Second edition is available now. Please check it out. Also, my channel is Baselit Analyzer at YouTube. I'll be covering Ernest Hemingway soon, his Movable Feast, this McCoy book, and a book by Aldous Huxley called The Island. So please check it out. Love you guys. Thanks for having me. Peace.
All right, Baselit Analyzer checking out. Thanks, buddy. Have a great weekend. We'll look forward to seeing you next week. Ruckus, over to you. Anything you want to say before we get out of here?
Yeah, I was just on Wednesday night, as I often do. Well, usually every Wednesday night, I'm on Weaponized News with Sam Chaney. You can find a replay of that up at our website, Alternate Current Radio, under the moniker Roundabout Ruckus. But the most recent episode right here, January 21st, we had 7C's on with us. He does great work. You'll find a link to his work in here somewhere, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, there it is. There you go. And you can go see where to find this guy. But we had a wonderful conversation, and I think everyone here who likes the Boiler Room will enjoy what the three of us had to discuss on that conversation, and give a deeper insight into some of the shenanigans that were taking place at Davos, including an in-depth conversation about the universal blockchain ledger thing, Amy Bobber, which was discussed by one of our favorites, none other than Larry Fink of BlackRock fame. Love that guy. He's like the whole free planet. He's awesome. Right? Yeah. Anyways, so yeah, please check that out. Head on over to alternatecurrentradio.com for that one, Hesher. And then I'm pretty sure you and I will probably be joining Patrick Henningsen on Sunday Wire this weekend. If not, you can check out the most recent times we were on Sunday Wire. We do that often, don't we? And in the meantime, you can catch me here on Boiler Room. That is it from this guy. Read everything, listen to everybody. Don't believe anything unless you prove it for yourself with your own research. That's what Bill Cooper taught us. Ruckus saying good night.
All right. Thanks, Ruckus. Great to have everybody here with us tonight. Thank you so much. And we'll see you for Sunday Wire this Sunday. That starts at 9 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Central, noon Pacific, and of course, 5 p.m. In the UK. So we'll see you there for Sunday Wire. And this has been Boiler Room, Peace Incorporated. Brought to you by the Department of War. And remember, Peace Incorporated doesn't end wars, it standardizes them.
That's it. Go ahead and run.